Hi everyone, I'm Christy Forsyth with Clarity by Christy. I am a soul therapist and an intuitive that connects with the angelic energy. I just felt really called to do an energy update. I did my weekly energy update, my weekly energy reading on Tuesday, and it just feels like we need to build upon these messages because I know I have my own confusion about the messages, and I'm sure that you guys do too. Sometimes I can feel the energy in reaction to the messages, in reaction to the videos. And so I myself was feeling called to tap into that so that I could share that with all of you, because quite frankly, I'm having a tough time with some of this energy too. And I know that some of you guys are too. I've been talking for a while about how expansive this energy is, that there's a lot of things that are happening that are allowing for divine timing, that are allowing for things to progress and expand and develop and happen and all of these things, right? And that continues to be true. But it's been hard to describe this energy that we're in right now because there's so much that's happening. There's so much that is moving around. There's so many moving parts to this energy that it can look really confusing. It can look really scary. And I'm finding that that's true for so many people right now. If you guys are feeling scared, confused, or whatever it is that you're feeling, let me know in the comments. How have you been feeling? How are you receiving this energy? I've noticed in my own life, I have some really exciting, incredible things that are developing for me. And then I have found that there are some things that have been stirred up for me that I didn't expect I would have to deal with anymore. It was like, I had this sense that I had moved beyond it, that I had worked through that, had developed beyond that. So I'll give an example. I've had the weirdest schedule that I've had in years for the past several weeks. And so I've had, understandably so, like weather, illness, all of these things. I've had a lot of cancellations, but to the point that it has triggered me and scared me in ways that I used to feel triggered. I used to feel scared back in the past when I was just getting started, when my schedule was just starting to fill up, when I was just beginning to do this work. And so that's been really scary, but it's forced me to kind of figure out, okay, so if this is what's happening, then what am I meant to be doing with this time? What does this look like? And I think a big piece of that has been for me to just take this time to connect with the energy so that I can explain it to all of you, so that I can help all of you to understand what is going on with this energy. And so I'm tuning in with that. And again, it feels really hard to explain. I've been talking about how it feels like the universe is shuffling the deck. It feels like there's a lot of moving parts right now and a lot of things moving around. And maybe you guys can feel that if you are sensitive to energy, if you're tuned into energy. You can kind of feel things happening behind the scenes. You can feel that there are these changes that are happening for us, that there's this movement. And so when I tapped into that this morning, and just because I was frustrated with this energy, and my question was, if this energy is so expansive, why do I feel so confused and scared, right? I have some other things going on. I have some issues going on with a neighbor that have been absolutely ridiculous. And it's like, why is this showing up in my experience? It's 2:22, by the way, at this moment that I'm talking about this. That is my yes number. That is my number for us being exactly where we are meant to be. And that's, by the way, this sense that I got when I tapped into this energy. So I asked this question and tuned into the answers, and I've just kind of let these answers develop and happen and show up throughout the day. And so I was reminded of that message that the deck is being shuffled, that there's a lot that's happening, and that there is some level of trust that needs to happen. That part of this shuffling is moving us to the right places, to the right people, to the right experiences. Essentially, it's moving us to where we need to be. But I think on the surface, like what we're seeing is there are these experiences of things clearing out or things changing. I find that when we're truly preparing for a significant level up, there is a little bit of a slowdown or a pause or an experience that stands out and feels different, that feels like it's really stretching us. It's really calling for us to be open to different. And I think that that's really, really key here in this energy, is that we are being called to be different, to move differently, to let different experiences come in. And I find that I'm somebody, I am a creature of habit. I love a routine, and as much as I'm really good at following the flow of the energy, I also can get really caught up in kind of the day-to-day and doing things the same way. And so I think that a huge part of what's going on in this energy is that it is calling for us to let it be shaken up, to let it be different, to let ourselves look at how we might do things differently, where maybe we've allowed the energy to get stagnant, because this energy is calling for movement. I'm finding that for myself personally, there have been things that have really stirred up insecurities for me this week. I'm curious if you guys have had that experience too. Hi, Kyle. Nice to see you on here. If you felt more insecure, and when I asked about that, when I tuned into that, I really felt like a big part of the answer is that there's this call to continue to lean into our most authentic self. And it's going to require some bravery. It's going to require us to recognize where we still have insecurities and to challenge ourselves, to trust not only in our higher power, but in ourselves, to trust that we can do the things that we are intending to do, that we can do the things that we are envisioning that we can do, to allow all of that. There's this clearing out of the old. There's this sense that we're really different. So much has changed, and that there's this call, that this understanding on a deep soul level that because we are so different, the circumstances that are happening around us need to look differently too. And we don't love change always, right? But like the word that I get with all of this is renewal. So it might feel scary. It might feel confusing. I think that this energy is incredibly confusing, more confusing than I even emphasized in my weekly reading this week. I think that it's hard to make sense of. There's this sense of like, I'm going to try to explain this with words, but of going back to the beginning in some way, of some kind of a renewal, but it's like we're going back to the beginning with some things, but we're doing it better this time. So I'll give an example for me personally. Some of the things that I'm noticing just in my work is that there's this real call to come back and say, how do I want to be investing my time and my energy in my work? How am I being called right now? And how does that look different from how I am spending my day to day? I also am noticing that there's a call for me to change my self-care routine, my daily routine, to shake that up. Not because the routine that I've had is wrong. I'm actually really great at that self-care and that balancing and things like that, but there's this call to do it differently. There's this call to shake that up because, again, we're not the same person. You know, this routine, this ritual that I had, I've been using it for years, and it's saying, listen, the person who made that routine for you, who decided that was going to be the best way to take care of you then, is not the same person that you are now. And so we have to shake that up. I'm playing around with some things with my meditations. I feel this real call to do that in a different way. And I'm noticing that as I feel that call, these recommendations are coming in from the universe in lots of different forms, these different ways in things to try, and these different signs that I need to shake it up. This is a beautiful renewal that is happening for us, but we have to let it be new. And I say renewal, right? So I do think that it's not completely brand new energy in some ways. It's like we're taking the best of the old and we're making it even better. We're bringing in a fresh energy. So we're taking the aspects, the pieces of this beautiful life that we've created for ourselves, and we're bringing it into newness. One of the things that I wrote down was connecting to the energies is, do not be afraid to give it the space to become what it's supposed to be. So do not be afraid to give it the space to become what it's supposed to be. And I think that this is really important. I think that part of the calling right now is to give it space, is to let it develop, is to trust. There is so much that's happening right now that I see as divine timing. I'm watching for people, so many beautiful things happening, but there's just like this mix of all this confusion with it too. So let's let it breathe a little bit. Let's give it space. Let's not try to force anything. What we want to be doing with this energy is just kind of working with it, just kind of massaging it, letting it pop through as things are wanting to happen, but also being open to the changes, being open to the shifts that are wanting to happen. We are in every way, shape and form being led to where we need to make adjustments to prepare us for what we are now stepping into. So this is very changing energy. This is very powerful energy. And it's important. It's so important right now. So I felt like the weekly messages didn't quite do justice to how complicated, how many layers there are to this energy. And maybe even this isn't giving that, but you guys, I'm curious how you're experiencing it. The other thing that just really stands out to me is that there is a call for us to take action on some things. And again, I said it in the weekly reading, we don't want to be taking action from a place of fear, from a place of, oh my gosh, I've got to do this because I'm afraid that this will happen. That's not what it's about. We want it to be led by light. We want it to be led by our excitement about what we're creating. We want it to be led by inspired action. And if we're letting that be led in that way, it's going to create some really powerful things here and now in these moments. But part of what we really want to be paying attention to is really thinking about, if I don't take this action, am I going to regret it? Am I going to regret this later? And I don't mean that from, I'm trying to use words to explain this. I don't mean that from a place of fear, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to just do this because I think I'm going to regret it later. But I really want you to tune in and say, if I don't take this window of opportunity right now to take whatever inspired actions I'm being called to take, do I think that I'm going to regret it? This is not the time to wait. This is not the time to not take action if those actions are being inspired for you to take them. So I hope that makes sense. Lots going on, and the more that we can lean into our flow, our trust, our faith, the better in all of this. I promise you, we are getting divine assignments to do the things that we need to be doing. All we have to do is listen and be willing to have the courage to take the steps that we need to take as we get those divine assignments, as those instructions are coming through. Keep praying, keep connecting to your higher power, keep manifesting. This energy is so powerful in terms of manifestation. We're being guided, we're being supported every step of the way. And so the more that we can keep coming back to that idea, the better. Everything is always working out for us. That's one of my favorite affirmations, and I think that will serve us really, really well right now to keep coming back to this. I don't think that we're going to be in this energy for very long, maybe a few weeks, where there's so many moving parts and so many things shifting. But in the meantime, can we keep the faith and just keep going and really try to trust in this grand scheme of things, that everything is working out for us, that there is a divine plan in place, and that so many beautiful things are happening for us. All right, guys, thank you so much for checking this out. Let me know if you're watching, say hello, like this video. If you're watching this replay on my YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you don't unsubscribe, because sometimes I think people are unsubscribing when they're going to hit that subscribe button. But if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube button or my YouTube channel yet, please do that. Please heart this video, give me a comment below, whatever you feel called to do. Maybe share it with somebody who's feeling down and discouraged and confused. We're in this together, guys. So take care. I'll see you soon. Bye.